The new Audi A5 Sportback. You know, that 4-door coupe, which is based on a 2-door coupe, which is also based on a 4-door sedan. But to be completely fair, Audi did give this new A5 a different design compared to the A4. It's not radically different, but you can most definitely tell the two apart when seeing them together. On the inside, they're pretty much identical, but my God, just look at this interior.
Quality materials, top-notch finishing, and minimalism. This sentence pretty much summarizes the new A5 Sportback's interior. The car in question is an S-Line trim, which consists of these great partial leather sport seats on the inside, dark-colored headliner, and the superb flat-bottom S-Line sports steering wheel. Also featured in this interior, beside a pretty good MMI Plus infotainment system, are probably the best digital dials I've ever seen on a car before. Called the Audi Virtual Cockpit, these dials can show you various information about the car, beside obviously the speed you're traveling at and the RPMs the engine is doing. You can see the trip computer, infotainment system information, phone data, and this gorgeous looking Google Maps navigation system. The S-Line trim extends to the outside as well, and this adds a more aggressive design to the front and rear bumpers, more prominent side skirts, and these 19-inch alloys all wrapped up in 255/35 rubber. The car is finished in grey Daytona pearl effect, a color which you can only get in combination with the exterior S-Line trim. And worry not, even though the roofline on this car is lower than the sedan's version, there's plenty of room in the back even for professional hamburger devourers like me.
Right from the get-go, Audi wanted to clearly separate the A4 and the A5 Sportback.
It resembles a coupe even more than the previous version did. Obviously it's got frameless doors all around, and Audi gave it a more sportier front end and a more modern looking rear end this time around.
This is an excellent looking car inside and out. Today we're driving the famous TDI 2-liter turbocharged diesel engine. It's capable of producing 190 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque.
With the help of this excellent 7-speed double-clutch gearbox, the car can go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 7.4 seconds. The top speed is as near as makes no difference, 235 km per hour.
The first thing you notice when you take this car out for a spin is the fact that Audi raised the bar even higher in terms of refinement. This car is so comfortable and quiet that you can barely tell you're driving a diesel. Now, I'll admit the 7-speed double-clutch gearbox also helps by keeping the RPMs low at all times, but even when you put the car in dynamic mode and you rev it out to 3000, let's say, the engine sounds really good. It doesn't have that specific harshness that TDIs used to have. It's very, very refined.
It also goes pretty well, starting from 1500 RPM and all the way up to 4000, where it kind of runs out of puff. You can feel the torque of the engine, making the car feel agile and always ready to go. And the transmission is a peach. It shifts instantly and so smoothly that you can hardly tell when the box is running through the gears. Even in dynamic mode, when it shifts at higher RPM, it's still as smooth and as refined as it is in comfort mode.
Today we're driving a car that's equipped with the exterior S-Line package, which means we're getting lower and harsher suspension.
But don't be tempted into thinking that this A5 has bone-shakingly hard suspension. No, it's just a bit stiffer than the standard one, and if you plan on taking the car often on poor quality tarmac, you're likely going to feel the difference. But as I said, it's not a night and day difference.
But on the flip side, having a sportier suspension means a better handling car, and this car is no exception. The suspension has hardly any body roll, and the car corners flat. And it also sticks very well to the tarmac thanks to its wide front and rear tires. The steering is a bit strange in my opinion. Around town it always feels too light, and when you get up to speed, when going on motorways and stuff like that, it always feels like it weighs up too much, and it all just feels too artificial for my taste.
Just to make sure you understand what I'm on about here, let me try and explain the problem in a different manner. In most modern cars, the steering works like this. At lower speeds, the steering is in its lightest setting in order to make the car more maneuverable around town. But as the speed increases, so does the steering weight, so that it makes it harder to unsettle the car when trying to avoid an obstacle, for example. Then there's the driving modes: Comfort, Normal and Sport. Driving modes which are supposed to alter the engine and transmission response, suspension settings and steering characteristics. Usually in Comfort mode the steering is light, but when you put the car in Sport mode, it weights up to give you a more sporty feel. And this is where the problem lies with the new A5 Sportback. For some unknown reason, the driving modes in this car do not alter the steering feel and response at all. And unfortunately this means that this car is not yet at the level of driving involvement and versatility as one of its main rivals, the 4 Series Gran Coupe.
I wish I had a more powerful engine so I could properly test the sporting capabilities of this car, but such is life, you can't really have them all. But overall, they've clearly worked very hard at separating this from the A4, and the overall package is really impressive.